أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد الفاتح الخاتم وعلى آله حق قدر العظيم. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon everyone. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, all praises are due to the Almighty Allah, the Lord of the universe, the most beneficent, the most merciful, the sovereign of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and from you alone we implore help. Guide us to a straight path, the path of those whom you have favored, neither of those who have incurred your wrath, nor of those who have gone astray. O Allah, maintain your praise persistently upon our Chief and Master Muhammad, the key to that which is closed, the seal to that which is past, the upholder of the truth by means of truth, the proper guide to your straight path, upon his family according to his eminence and his great honor. Assalamu alaikum. Once again, good afternoon everyone. Today we are going to start a new series that is the Divine Mandate under our caption, The Philosophy of Religion. One may wonder, what do we mean by Divine Mandate? Having established in the earlier series the omniscience, omnipresence, omnipower of the Almighty Allah, that the Almighty Allah crafted the universal space in which we find ourselves, that He alone crafted the kingdom of creation without receiving any help from anywhere. In fact, nothing was existing at the moment He created the universe. There was nothing to even witness the process of the creation. As He said in the chapter Suratul Kahf, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ما أشهدتم خلق السماوات والأرض وما أشهدتم خلق السماوات والأرض ولا خلق أنفسهم وما كنت متخذ المضلين عضدا. I have never shown them, I have never taken them witnesses to the process of the creation, to the process of the creation of the heavens and the earth. In fact, nor were they even granted an opportunity to witness the process of their own creation. وَلَا خَلْقَ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُضِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. And miraculously, no creature, no scientific, no technological development, no scientific discovery can improve the standard of knowledge to the level where a human being can witness the process of his own creation. Nothing up to the moment, no creature can claim having witnessed the process of its own creation. It may witness the process perhaps of the creation of some embryo. For example, the process that an embryo undergoes before coming to stage of a full-fledged human being or a full-fledged baby. Anyway, so having established all these facts, that the source of the universe remain one and single, the wisdom dictates that no, there cannot be multiple sources to the kingdom of creation, or for the kingdom of creation. It has to be one and single source, definitely. That is why you can see an amazing conformity, an amazing you can see an amazing conformity in the way and manner the universe is being run. You can't see any crack in the structure of the universe. The Almighty Allah said in the chapter Surah Al-Mulk, ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. صدق الله العظيم. You can't see any inconformity in the structure of the merciful Lord, you can look up to the heaven, whether you can see any crack. In fact, you can look up once, you can look up over and over again to the heaven, to the extent that your eyes will return to you, tired of looking for any fault in the structure of the heavens. So now, what may bother our mind as human beings is, who will speak on behalf of God? Who did the Almighty send for us? Who is there to guide us to the Creator that brought us to existence for a particular purpose? Who is there to tell us for which purpose were we created? And who can prove to us that is genuinely mandated by God to speak on his behalf? And who is there to tell us that the Almighty, that is an envoy from the Almighty Allah to us? And how would we verify his claims, whether it is true or not, whether he is truly a prophet or not? So this is exactly what we mean by the divine mandate, that prophets and apostles were mandated by the Almighty Allah to speak in his name, to speak on his behalf, and to convey messages from him to the kingdom of creation. Right from Prophet Adam, who was the father of all humanity, down to the last and the seal of all prophets, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Prophet Adam, although the job was made easier for him, as at the time he was assigned the Caliph of the Almighty Allah on the surface of the earth, he was sent to no other than his own children. So the children he gave birth to, he would train them in the way and manner the Almighty Allah guided him, and he will teach them how to worship the Almighty Allah and teach them what they needed to know about the Almighty Allah, his names, his attributes, his actions, and all the peculiarities of divinity. And he will teach them how to conduct themselves in their life as a father as well as a prophet. So he couldn't be, in truly speaking, he couldn't be considered an apostle that was sent to a people that struggle to deliver a message. When we talk about apostleship or risala, so the concept of apostleship started with Prophet Noah. Prophet Noah was the first ever to be sent to a people to convey a message to them. In the process of conveying that message, he had to struggle for a period of 950 years. That is why in the chapter Surah An-Nisa, or rather, Surah An-Nisa, the Almighty Allah said, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Inna awhayna ilayka kama awhayna ila Nuhin." He didn't say ila Adam. Ila Nuhin wan nabiyina min ba'di, not wan nabiyina min qabli. Wa awhayna ila Ibrahima wa Ismaila wa Ishaqa wa Yaquba wa Lasbati wa Isa wa Ayyuba wa Yunusa wa Haruna wa Sulaiman. وآتينا داود زبورا ورسلا قد قصصناهم عليك من قبل ورسلا لم نقصصهم عليك وكلم الله موسى تكليما رسلا مبشرين ومنذرين لئلا يكون للناس على الله حجة بعد الرسل وكان الله عزيزا حكيما. صدق الله العظيم. The Almighty Allah said, certainly we have sent down an inspiration to you in the same way we sent an inspiration to Prophet Noah, meaning we have sent down revelations to you in a manner or in the same way we sent down revelation to Prophet Noah on prophets who came after him. إِلَى نُوحٍ وَالنَّبِيِّينَ مِن بَعْدِهِ. That means that Risala as a concept implies sending down revelation to a prophet. Prophethood means prophethood as far as Islam is concerned means a human being being selected by the Almighty Allah and appointed a prophet by the Almighty Allah and then spoken to by the Almighty Allah, even though he might not be assigned to convey the message to anyone else. The message was just meant for him. He is considered a prophet, even if he is not sent to anyone. An-nubuwa wa risala. An-nubuwa means prophethood. That is, it is a position that the Almighty Allah exclusively selects his servants for, and he appoints them and then speaks to them, not necessarily sending them to anyone. They might not, in fact, even their wives might even not know that they were prophets, because they were not sent to anyone, to nobody. But Risala means a position of apostleship, where the Almighty Allah chooses among the prophets a fewer number of them that are dispatched to a certain people to convey messages to those people, and at a particular point in time. So that is a risala. That's why we say divine mandate. That means they were mandated by the Almighty Allah to speak on his behalf, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to convey messages to people for the Almighty Allah. And this, as I said earlier, started with Prophet Noah. He was the first prophet ever to be sent to a particular people to convey messages, divine messages to them. And they rejected the message, most of them, with the exception of very few of them. The Almighty Allah said in the chapter Surah Hud alayhi salam, وَمَا آمَنَ مَعَهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. In fact, there were only very few people that believed in Prophet Noah when he conveyed the message. So, before him, you are Prophet Adam, you are Prophet Shis, you are Prophet Idris or Enoch. All these prophets preceded Prophet Noah, yet it was not recorded that they were sent to a particular people. Prophet Idris, the Almighty Allah mentioned him among prophets. In the chapter titled The Prophets, he said, Wa Ismaila wa Idrisa wa Zalkif kullum min as-salihin. O Prophet of God, call to remembrance Ishmael, Enoch, and Zalkifl. All of these were among our righteous servants. Kullum min as-salihin. وأركناهم في رحمتنا إنهم من الصالحين. Certainly we admitted them into our mercy, and we admitted them into our mercy. إنهم من الصالحين كل من الصابرين. All of them were among our enduring servants, those who endured the calamities that were afflicted on them in the process of conveying the messages. وَأَرْكَلْنَاهُمْ فِي رَحْمَتِنَا إِنَّهُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. So, and that is Prophet Enoch. And the Prophet Noah, in his case, the Almighty Allah provided his story in a greater detail than those we mentioned. That Prophet Prophet Shis had not even had his name mentioned in the Holy Quran. It is only in some narratives from hadith that you can have his name. And as Prophet Enoch, of course, had his name mentioned, or Idris was Al-Kifl. But for Prophet Noah, the Almighty Allah mentioned him in quite a number of passages in the Holy Book. His story was given in a greater detail than those we have mentioned. Why? Because he was the first apostle ever to be sent. And his experiences with his people provided a fertile ground for us to assess and examine the later experiences of the prophets who came after him. For example, most of the responses he got from his people were repeatedly reported from the people of the prophets who came after him. In fact, no prophet had ever been sent after Noah without him being treated in the same way the people of Noah treated their prophet. The major argument of the unbelievers of Prophet Noah was that he was a mortal. That a mortal is not qualified to be considered an envoy of the Almighty Allah. No mortal is considered sacred enough to speak in the name of Allah. That is why the first response to his message was, مَا نَرَاكَ إِلَّا بَشَرًا مِثْلَنَا وَمَا نَرَاكَ اتَّبَعَكَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ هُمْ أَرَاذِلُنَا بَادِيَ الرَّأْيِ. For us, we consider you a common human being like us. And for your people, those who followed you, you can see in reality, they are our employees. Most of them are our, in fact, going by the social strata, they occupy the lowest bottom of the social strata. They are at the lowest bottom. So we consider you a common human being like us. Your followers are nothing but the lowest, what they call riffraff of the society. If it is the Almighty Allah that sent you, definitely you claim to have been chosen by Him. So why you are people who are not chosen by Him? And you can't tell us this riffraff constitute a divine choice, that they represent the divine choice of followership for you? No. The Almighty Allah will definitely choose the best for Himself. And they are the riffraff of the society. How would they be chosen by the Almighty Allah as His people? By our own parameters, they are the lowest. So, Araziluna, Arazil in Arabic is a plural name, the singular of which is Arzal. That's why in the chapter Surah Shu'ara he said, Anu'minu bika wattaba'aka al-arzalun. Should we believe in you while those at the lowest bottom of the social class are the ones following you? You expect us to believe in you? Araziluna badiya ra'i, those who can't even think deeply because they lack the intelligence to think. It takes mental capacity to think, and they lack it. In fact, that's why they even believe in you. As soon as you convey the message, they did not even think. They just believed naively in you, out of naivety. That's how they considered them. And we have never seen anything, any exclusive, we have never seen you enjoying any exclusive privilege over us. وَمَا نَرَى لَكُمْ عَلَيْنَا مِنْ فَضْلٍ بَلْ نَظُنُّكُمْ كَاذِبِينَ. For us, you and your followers are nothing but a bunch of liars. بَلْ نَظُنُّكُمْ كَاذِبِينَ. So this is the way and manner they think, and this is the way and manner they make assessment of the claims of prophets. When the prophets conveyed message to them, they use these parameters to judge whether the prophets were right or wrong, whether they were true or not, whether the messages conveyed to them were truly divine or not. And one particular thing that we need to understand here is that when we check the parameters they use in assessing or in verifying the claims of the prophets, is material tools. They use material tools, material parameters in assessing the genuineness of the message. What they wanted to see was material superiority. They wanted to see in what way the prophet was materially superior to them, and in what way his followership constitute any superiority or represent any superiority over them. But inasmuch as the followers were materially inferior to them, and the prophet was only comparable to them, then in what way would he claim to have been chosen by God to speak in his name? In what way? They can't reconcile themselves with this. So it's quite interesting for us to know the way and manner they think and what led them astray, so that we can avoid using the same tools in making assessment, because those who came before us used the same tools and got lost and eventually went to the hellfire. Because you can't use the same tools they use without you arriving at the same result. That is the most important thing. While he is there trying to convince them that the Almighty Allah spoke to him and mandated him to convey his message to them and speak in his name, and they are there assessing him materially. Can you see? As if the Almighty Allah has nothing beyond material structure of this universe. Even this universe as we see it, as it appears to us, does not represent the whole of the universe. We can only see what we can see. And material things are countable, material things are exhaustible, but the source of the material structure of the world, you must agree with me, is inexhaustible. That is why up to now the world is emerging in its newer form, in its better form. You can see developments. If it were exhaustible, it would have been exhausted thousands of years ago. But as if the world had never been used by those who came before us, as if the world is getting newer, fresher, and better. It had been worn out. And you must agree with me, it's because the source will never be, the source can never dry. That is why the world is getting fresher and newer. So, I think we have to stop here, inshallah. When we come back in the next session, we are going to continue exactly where we stopped. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, al-Fatih lima ughliq, wal-Khatim lima sabaq, ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق القدر العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام عليكم.